Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Octavia Prosper. In the headlines, government remains committed to assisting Dominica with power outages. Health Minister addresses doctors' concerns at Dominica China Friendship Hospital. And state funeral of late Speaker Emerita set for September 25. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says government remains committed to providing Dominica Electricity Services (DOMLEC) with the assistance needed to mitigate the current power outages across the island.
I've asked the board to advise me on the actions that they are going to take in the immediate to address the immediate challenges of load shedding, and what are the recommendations and strategy for the medium term, albeit while we wait for the introduction of geothermal some years down the road.
Prime Minister Skerrit says Venezuela will also provide a team of mechanical engineers to assist DOMLEC with immediate challenges.
I met with the president of Venezuela on Saturday in Cuba, and I have, on behalf of DOMLEC, made requests of them for some support. They are in touch with DOMLEC directly from Saturday, moments after the meeting ended with the president. Venezuela has been in touch with DOMLEC. And it is the intention of Venezuela to send a team of mechanical and electrical engineers to Dominica tomorrow to assist DOMLEC in looking at the challenges they're having and with a view of providing whatever support we will need to address the issue in the immediate term and the medium term.
Prime Minister Skerrit says the issue of procurement of new generators also formed part of the discussions. He says government will assist DOMLEC with obtaining these generators to mitigate cost.
We also discussed with the board and management of DOMLEC the issue of the procurement of new generators for DOMLEC to address the situation in the medium term, because I'm sure the Germans will tell you that some of the generators are old, and therefore we need to address this matter in a systemic and constructive manner. We will assist DOMLEC in procuring generators, because if DOMLEC were to procure those generators themselves, there will be an increase in tariff, an increase in cost to the consumers, and we're trying to mitigate against that. And so the board will advise on what engagement you would like to have with the government in assisting it in procuring those generators.
General Manager of Dominica Electricity Services, DOMLEC, is Bertilia Mackenzie.
We are also going to bring on about 3 megawatts of generation from internal sources. DOMLEC has what you call interruptible agreements with some commercial customers where we ask them to get off the grid. That is already in place, and that is about 0.5 of a megawatt, half of a megawatt. We're going to extend that, and we want to bring on very soon 3 megawatts of generation from using generators on island.
Minister for Health, Wellness and Social Services, Honorable Kasani Laville, has taken steps to address concerns raised by a group of medical officers at the Dominica China Friendship Hospital. During the Prime Minister's press conference on Monday, the Health Minister spoke to his meeting with the medical officers.
On the evening of Monday, September 11th, I was approached by a medical officer from the Dominica China Friendship Hospital who requested a meeting on behalf of a group of medical officers. I consented to their request despite having parliamentary duties at 10 a.m. the following day. Accompanied by the hospital CEO and the hospital medical director, I met with the medical officers at 8 a.m. The representative expressed gratitude for a prompt response and proceeded to outline the various challenges medical officers face in a dynamic environment.
The minister went on to relate the main concerns as outlined by the medical officers.
The officer emphasized that there appeared to be staffing constraints among the medical officers, thereby causing an environment where those who are on duty are in turn overworked and stressed. The main issue, as expressed by the medical officers, was that the A&E department had 11 officers assigned normally. However, at this time, they were operating with 5 medical officers due to various issues, mostly associated with vacation leave, sick leave, short-term training, and temporary reassignment of a medical officer.
Medical officers put forward a number of recommendations to address their concerns.
1. Immediately promote medical interns to medical officers after 4 basic rotations. While the administration firmly believes in the promotion of individuals and upward mobility, this ask is not within our control. Interns are required to complete all rotations, then apply to the medical board for licensure. The medical board is an independent regulatory body. The medical officers were encouraged to ask interns to apply to the medical board. Then the minister may ask the board to convene a special meeting for assessment. It must be noted, however, there are many considerations in granting licenses, and it is not unusual for the medical board to propose extension of internship period if or where identified.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has described the Group of 77 Plus China Summit as a unique opportunity to have frank and open dialogue. The G77 Plus China Summit concluded in Havana, Cuba over the weekend. The 2-day summit was held under the theme, The Current Challenges of Development, Role of Science, Technology and Innovation. Prime Minister Skerrit told the leaders gathered that the summit also provided a chance to unite behind common development principles to achieve the goals of sustainability and resilience in the face of external economic shocks.
We all accept that now more than any other time in the history of mankind, we live in a world which is shaped and driven by science and technology. The reality is, notwithstanding the size of an economy or population, investment in science and technology enables innovations across all sectors, which allows for new productive processes that are essential for human welfare and advancement. We have all witnessed positive results when science and technology is utilized as a driver of development. For decades, it has been this driver that has influenced the blueprints from which countries in the Caribbean and across the G77 have set and achieved primary developmental objectives and identified solutions to enhance our resilience agenda.
Prime Minister Skerrit says CARICOM remains committed and constant in its advocacy for meaningful exchanges in all aspects of international relations and trade.
These exchanges facilitate the building of capacity in critical areas, including public health, education, information technology, infrastructure development, food security, energy security, climate change, and disaster mitigation. While we in the Global South have made notable progress in science and technology, we must recognize that there remains much to be done to enhance and support our development efforts. Our collective pursuit of innovation in science and technology for global development facilitates clear and long-lasting shared benefits, providing an effective path to address the current challenges.
The G77 plus China Summit brought together world leaders to discuss current development challenges facing member countries and to seek common solutions. Dominica's delegation to the summit included Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of the Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, Honorable Darren Lloyd, and Dominica's Ambassador to Cuba, His Excellency Ian Douglas. President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles A. Savard, addressed the United Nations 2023 Sustainable Development Summit, Shaping the Future of Sustainable Development on behalf of the Caribbean community earlier today. President Savard says CARICOM endorses the call for all member states to recommit towards the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs.
This summit will provide a unique opportunity to fundamentally adjust trajectory of all member states to take positive action towards its implementation. Mr. President, CARICOM endorses the political declaration set out by the Secretary General in a renewed call for all member states to recommit towards this transformative process. The existential threat of COVID-19 over the last 3 years, exacerbated by the impact of climate change and war in Ukraine, calls for even greater leadership at the multilateral level. Therefore, what is required is a surge in commitments for governments and other stakeholders to take implementation of the SDGs to the next level.
President Savard says although challenges may arise, humanity can survive with the wealth of resources that are now available.
The use of technology as a transformative tool must be harnessed, and no citizen should be disadvantaged. The 2030 agenda is achievable. There will always be challenges. However, the capacity to overcome the most severe challenges is not an anomaly for humankind. These are indeed unprecedented times. We can draw confidence from the fact that we have access to a wealth of knowledge and resources to meet the demands of the times. Mr. President, CARICOM remains firm in its support for implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals.
In recognition of Kalinago Week 2023, a delegation led by historian and Minister of Kalinago Upliftment, Honorable Cozy Frederick, conducted a school lecture series within the Kalinago territory on September 18, 2023. Minister Frederick was joined by Kalinago Chief Lorenzo Sanford, members of the Kalinago Council, Cultural Officer, Prosper Paris, and Miss Dominica 2023 Adicia Burton. The school lectures commenced at the Siniku Primary School, then moved to the Salibia Primary School, Lighthouse Christian Academy, Atkinson Primary School, and Concord Primary School. The lectures focused on the history of the 1930 Kalinago Uprising and Kalinago heritage. During his presentation, Minister Frederick spoke of the tragedy that happened during the Kalinago Uprising and the importance of remaining thankful for the sacrifices made by the Kalinago ancestors.
They came into the Kalinago territory and with guns and stuff, and they were looking for things. And some people died. The police shot at some of our grandfathers and grandparents, and 2 people actually died. And it is on that day in 1930, on September 19th, that happened. So every September 19th, we try to remember that day and try to honor those people who died for the things that made us better. And we try to honor and keep the culture alive, because it's very important when people do good things to remember them.
Kalinago Chief Mr. Lorenzo Sanford spoke of the objective of the school lectures in preserving the culture the children inherited from their ancestors.
The idea that we have for you all, it's making you all know that we have a very deep culture in everything that we do, our Kalinago, our indigenous culture, and it is our way of life as a people. And you as young people, as you grow up, you will see the different and learn the different things that your grandparents have done, what your grandparents have practiced. Some of them may teach it to you all. So all of what they are teaching you, it's our traditions, our Kalinago culture, so that you may continue to grow with that culture in which is embedded in our DNA, in our blood.
On Wednesday, 19, Kalinago Week continues at 10 a.m. with a memorial smoke ceremony at St. C and naming ceremony at the Kalinago Barana Ote at 4 p.m. Thursday 10 is recognized as Kalinago Dress Day, and a Kalinago Spelling Bee will be held at the Concord Primary School. On Saturday 23, a ceremony will be held in honor of presidential candidate Mrs. Sylvani Burton from 4 p.m. at the Kalinago Barana Ote. You are watching National Focus. More when we return.
I love the freedom when I'm out there. Simply put, the worries from shore, none of that out there. And it's my daily bread. I learned it from my dad. My dad is one of the senior guys here who catch the biggest fish around here. And he's top with the red snappers. It's a family thing. I'm the only one fishing right now in the family. Just keeping it going. I enjoy bringing them up, man. Sometimes we have a yellowfin tuna, 400 pounds. Man, let me tell you, that's just a joy out there. I enjoy going out there and just holding the big fish. I don't lift weights, I lift fish. The morning of my fishing trip, I would get up, make a little spice tea. Then I come down here. I have my GPS, which most fishermen are supposed to have that. Normally I prepare the day before, because whenever you go out there, you must have ice. Ice is a must for preservation of the fish. So I always make sure I have everything the day before. My fish represents me, and I bring good quality fish ashore simply because the restaurants themselves, they have to show a quality product. Tourism and agriculture go hand in hand. That's what I think. We're all connected. It's like a big machine, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. My name is Brandon Carlisle, and tourism is my business.
Welcome back. Government has accorded the late Mrs. Alex Boyd Knight, former Speaker of the House of Assembly and Speaker Emerita, a state funeral. The funeral will be held on Monday, September 25, 2023, at the St. Gerald's Cathedral Chapel. Mrs. Alex Boyd Knight was the longest-serving Speaker in Dominica's history, having served from April 2000 to February 2020. She was chairperson of the Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association from 2010 to 2013. The lying-in state of the body of the late Mrs. Alex Boyd Knight will take place on Monday, September 25, 2023, at the House of Assembly from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., and viewing at the St. Gerald's Cathedral Chapel from 2:30 p.m. The funeral service for the late Mrs. Alex Boyd Knight will commence at 3 p.m., followed by interment at the Rosa Roman Catholic Church. The day of the funeral, Monday, September 25, 2023, shall be declared a day of national mourning, and flags shall be flown at half-staff on all public buildings on that day. The government of Dominica expresses deepest condolences to the family and friends of the late Mrs. Alex Boyd Knight. Meanwhile, former Member of Parliament for Salibert constituency, the late Mr. Bernard Francois Barry, will receive an official funeral. The funeral will take place on Thursday, September 21 at the Salibert Roman Catholic Church. Mr. Bernard Francois Barry was a parliamentary representative of the Salibert constituency from 1993 to 2000. He first entered Parliament following the by-election of 1993. He was re-elected at the general elections of 1995 and served as parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Education and Sports. The funeral service for the late Bernard Francois Barry will commence at 3 p.m., followed by interment at the Salibert Roman Catholic Cemetery. The viewing of the body will take place from 1:30 p.m. at the Salibert Catholic Church. The day of the funeral, Thursday, September 21, 2023, shall be declared a day of national mourning, and flags shall be flown at half-staff on all public buildings on that day. The government of Dominica also expresses deepest sympathy to the family and friends of the late Mr. Bernard Francois Barry. The Georgia football team has emerged victorious in the finals of Honorable Darren Lloyd St. Joseph Football League. Georgia beat out Harlem 4-3 in extra time to secure the Shane Marshall Determination Trophy. During the closing ceremony, Member of Parliament for the St. Joseph constituency, Honorable Darren Lloyd, thanked all those who participated to make the league possible.
Allow me to reiterate my gratitude to each and every one of you for partaking in this league. We have worked really hard to ensure that this league was a possibility. From the project you can see behind you, to the actual organization of the league. I want to thank each and every person who have contributed in one way or the other. Thank you very, very, very much. And I'd like to say to the people of St. Joseph, let's continue, let's keep the ball rolling. We cannot stop here, but we have to understand that it has to be a collective effort. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Captain of the Georgia team, Mr. Larry John Baptist, deemed the league as a success, and he says he hopes to see it continue next summer.
I want to congratulate my team. You know, they have been with me from 10 the league start, you know, die hard, each and every one of them. It had some challenging times, but at the end of the day, we made it. Yeah, we wanted to win. We wanted to win this trophy, you know. I must say, again, I want to say a big congratulations to our parliamentary representative for what he bring out for us during this summer, you know. I must say this league was a success, Pirate, and I hope we can continue on to next summer. You know, we've got good grace and guidance. I would love to see the league continue to next summer.
Captain of the Harlem team, Mr. LeBron Marshall, congratulated all those who had a part to play in the success of the league.
I want to appreciate everyone who made the league possible. And I want to congratulate the Georgia team for the win, and I want to also congratulate my team for making it to the finals tonight, and for Honorable Darren Lloyd for making the league possible, and all the other teams that made it out. And I just want to, you know, I appreciate what everybody done, the teams, the league. I like how the league turned out to be. Who knew Harlem would make it this far to the finals and give Georgia a workout tonight? Who knew? But we made it happen. We really made it happen. And I hope in next year it will be bigger and better, and we'll come out to the trophy next year.
Georgia received a cash prize of $3,700, while Harlem received $2,000. Hill Street, who placed third, received $1,000. Parliamentary representative of the Marigot constituency, Honorable Anthony Charles, in collaboration with the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association, has launched the Neville Pier Basketball Tournament. The tournament was launched on Friday, September 15, with an opening match between the Paybush Eagles and Sunrise from Marigot. The league was named after the late Mr. Neville Pier, a basketball icon from the area. Honorable Charles stated that this league was conceptualized as a way to decentralize basketball in the country.
It's not a Marigot league, you know. It's decentralizing basketball. Because besides the DAB, the National League, after that I realized sports on a whole come to a halt, and the sportsmen don't have no continuity and the flow, and they always rusty, they always stale. So I was wanting to encourage some more constituency to take on some sub-leagues or some leagues after the national leagues to have a continuity to keep the sportsmen fit and always have the sports at heart. So when they come to the national and the regional tournament, they will always be ready, fit, and ready to take on the challenge.
Honorable Charles thanked all those who played a part in the organization of the league.
We'll have to thank the president and Lisa and the rest for helping and aiding in this league to making it possible, because this league is basically to have a continuity with the sporting arena in basketball, but not only for that, it's to enhance the courts and also to bring people back to Marigot. Marigot was the place to be. It will become back the place to be. We're going to bring it back. But I didn't do just a Marigot league, you know. It is held in Marigot, which is a league for Dominica. This is going to be a knockout league. This is going to grow and grow and grow.
As Dominica observes the 6th anniversary of the passing of Hurricane Maria, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says this should be a time of reflection. Hurricane Maria passed over Dominica on Monday, September 18, 2017, leaving devastation and death in its wake. Over 30 people lost their lives in the Category 5 hurricane, while its strong winds and rains caused floods and damage to the country's infrastructure and natural landscape, leaving the island bare and in rubble. Over 200% of Dominica's GDP was completely wiped out. Prime Minister Skerrit says citizens should reflect on how far Dominica has come in its recovery process.
Today is the 6th anniversary of the passage of Hurricane Maria. I believe it is a time of reflection for the country and the devastation wrought by this hurricane in Dominica. Significant, unprecedented destruction. There are many who said, and for good reason, that it would have taken us over 20 years to rebuild. We did so in quick time, in rebuilding our lives and livelihoods.
He says Dominicans should appreciate the strides that the country has made in its recovery since the hurricane.
And so we thank God for his efforts and helping us for reconstruction and our rebuilding. And I think that we all would accept that this country made tremendous strides in our response to the hurricane. In large measure, we had to expend our own funds in the reconstruction. And luckily for us at the time, we had a significant amount of monies saved that we were able to use immediately to buy food and other supplies and to help people fix their homes and clear the roads and the streets.
He says citizens should use this time to regain the unity and prayerfulness displayed after the hurricane.
I want us to be in a prayerful and reflective mode in the country. That sometimes when these disasters come by, we're concerned and we're each other's brothers' keepers. But once the situation subsides and we're back to a sense of normalcy, then we go back to our ways of appearing to be divisive and divided among ourselves.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Octavia Prosper. Thanks for watching.